LuoFeng and Truyen Knight exchanged eye contact. They had both received the email from the virtual universe system at the same time. "I've never been to a Supreme Council meeting," Truyen Knight said. "Same," LuoFeng smiled. "Let's go." They both connected to the virtual universe with their minds. "Go to Pantheon Mountain," LuoFeng whispered in his palace. Pantheon Sanctuary on Pantheon Mountain was where the Supreme Council meeting was held. Since the Supreme Council meeting was being held today, Pantheon Mountain would open automatically when the virtual universe system sent the notifications through email. It was, however, normally closed. Clouds surrounded the mountains. One great being showed up after another, including LuoFeng and Truyen Knight. Some universe knights greeted LuoFeng warmly when he showed up. "Blade River. LuoFeng. LuoFeng. 9 Flames Thunder." LuoFeng greeted them one by one. He was close with quite a few human universe knights. "LuoFeng, Bark Mirror Emperor has brought you lots of trouble after being revived," a winged man said with a smile. "A soul-type true treasure and a flying palace-type true treasure. Perhaps they will attract lots of universe overlords of other races. You need to be careful in the future," LuoFeng said. "It is indeed a bit tricky, but if those other races want to kill me, they need to decide whether they're powerful enough to do that or not. They'll stay away unless they want to be killed by me." The winged man held the wineglass. "It's a wonder you're able to remain calm even under such circumstances. It's clear to see where Blade River gets his reputation. Stop making fun of me, Bloody Wing." LuoFeng smiled and shook his head. Although LuoFeng had met quite a few universe knights, most of them were only acquaintances. Only a few of them were his actual friends. Bloody Wing Knight was one of them. Bloody Wing Knight was known for his aloofness, but LuoFeng and Bloody Wing Knight enjoyed each other's company. "To be honest," Bloody Wing Knight said, lowering his voice, "the news revealed by Bark Mirror Emperor was indeed surprising. If I belonged to the other races, I would try to attack you." "I understand." LuoFeng nodded. "Look around," Bloody Wing Knight said. LuoFeng glanced around and saw more than 1,000 universe knights nearby, and there were more in the distance. Some of those he didn't know looked at him significantly as if they had been talking about him. However, LuoFeng couldn't hear the others' conversations, just as the others couldn't hear his conversation with Bloody Wing Knight. "I bet many universe knights are talking about you," Bloody Wing Knight said. "Especially those you don't know. Many of them are jealous of you." "Jealous?" LuoFeng was surprised. "There are 2 groups of beings on Pantheon Mountain," Bloody Wing Knight explained. "One is here, and those who gather here are 4-starred, 5-starred and 6-starred great beings. They have the power of elementary universe knights, secondary universe knights, and senior universe knights, respectively. The other place is where the 7-starred overlords and universe masters gather." LuoFeng nodded. Indeed, he didn't see any universe overlord around him. "The most powerful ones gathering here are at my level, senior universe knights," Bloody Wing Knight continued. "Few senior universe knights have a true treasure, whereas secondary universe knights and elementary universe knights don't have any. Usually, universe overlords have several true treasures. As for you, LuoFeng, you're indeed exceptional, but you still can't compare with universe overlords. Yet you have 6 true treasures, and 2 of them are soul type and flying palace type. That's excessive even for universe overlords. How could the universe knights here not be jealous of you?" Bloody Wing Knight smiled. "Even I am a bit jealous," LuoFeng laughed. "Of course, they're humans, so nobody will attack you," Bloody Wing Knight said. "However, those universe knights who don't know you might try to exclude you out of jealousy." "Exclude me?" LuoFeng whispered. "Because they're bitter," Bloody Wing Knight said. "Then I'll convince them with my power," LuoFeng said. "If I can rival universe overlords or even surpass universe overlords in the future, they'll have to respect me. Then you need to become a universe knight." Bloody Wing Knight smiled. LuoFeng gazed into the distance. The great beings from the Huge Axe Dojo, the Universe First Bank, the Universe Star River Bank, and the Universe Mercenary Alliance were all talking about this issue with their friends. At least 6 true treasures. LuoFeng didn't have the valuable, or the treasure bestowed by Thunder Beast God when he was being hunted by Bark Mirror Emperor in 9 Remoteness Space. However, he already had 3 true treasures. In particular, that soul-type true treasure. He was only a sector lord back then. How was he able to obtain a true treasure? It had to be given to him by a great being. Yes, Primal Chaos City leader favors him too much. How could he just give a soul-type true treasure to a sector lord? We Universe Knights don't even have ordinary true treasures, whereas he could get a soul-type true treasure as only a sector lord. The more they talked about it, the more unfair they thought it was. Why? Why would a sector lord be qualified to have 3 true treasures? Especially a soul-type true treasure. Lots of universe overlords within the human race didn't have soul-type true treasures. Even if Primal Chaos City Leader had treasures, he shouldn't have just given them all away. It couldn't convince anyone. Although they were upset, none of them dared to talk about it with Primal Chaos City Leader. After all, he was the supreme leader of the Virtual Universe Company. They were not entitled to pick a fight with him. Time passed, and more Universe Knights gathered on Pantheon Mountain. The Supreme Council meeting was about to be held. LuoFeng. True Yen Knight walked towards LuoFeng. LuoFeng turned around. Teacher. True Yen Knight blocked the sound around them and said, "It seems that lots of Universe Knights are upset about you obtaining 3 true treasures when you were only a sector lord, especially the soul-type true treasure. Many of them think that Primal Chaos City Leader has been unfair. Do you think you ought to go to Primal Chaos City Leader and tell him about this? 3 true treasures when I was a sector lord? Unfair?" LuoFeng didn't even know how to react. Primal Chaos City Leader had only given him 1 true treasure, Sher Wu Wing. Both Star Map and Tower Pearl had been given to him by Shan. Especially the soul-type true treasure Tower Pearl. It was a vital component of Star Tower, the center of the sealed space. It had nothing to the human race. Well, LuoFeng hesitated. He didn't know what to say. Surely he couldn't say that it was given to him by Shan. "I'll think of something," LuoFeng said, shaking his head. "It doesn't matter that they're talking about this. I can't expect to be close with all the great beings. Some of them are my friends, some of them are jealous, and some of them are my foes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you," True Yen Knight said. "However, it will affect Primal Chaos City Leader's reputation. Even if Primal Chaos City Leader did bestow me a valuable," said LuoFeng, "he gave me his own valuables instead of using the shared resources of the human race. He can do whatever he wants with them. Just let the others be jealous." LuoFeng smirked. Besides, Primal Chaos City Leader earned his status by his invincible power. Primal Chaos City Leader was invincible in the Primal Universe. With this advantage, no matter how biased people thought he was, nothing could sway his status. The issue was that Primal Chaos City Leader had been fair and just. Reckless Universe Masters didn't draw any complaints even when they did something preposterous, but many great beings would be upset if they thought Primal Chaos City Leader was biased. More and more great beings gathered on Pantheon Mountain. Hong! All the Universe Knights looked up and saw 2 golden doors open gradually. There were stars on the doors, and the location of the meeting was in the floating palace on Pantheon Mountain known as Pantheon Sanctuary. A voice resounded down the mountain. "Human great beings, gather!" Who? All the Universe Knights on Pantheon Mountain disappeared and were transported to Pantheon Sanctuary. Hong! Long! Long! The doors closed. Inside Pantheon Sanctuary stood a gigantic round table with exquisite sculptures on it. LuoFeng could only see a portion of the table, while the other part was blurry, as if it were surrounded by mist. LuoFeng sat on one of the thrones surrounding the round table. Huh! LuoFeng touched the arms of the chair and turned around. He saw the words, Blade River, etched on the chair. He looked around. So many Universe Knights. There were many Universe Knights sitting at the bottom, and they were all elementary Universe Knights. They had the smallest thrones, and each was around 6 feet wide. The thrones of secondary Universe Knights were around 30 feet wide. Those of senior Universe Knights were around 160 feet wide. LuoFeng sat on a 30-foot wide one. He was only able to see elementary Universe Knights, secondary Universe Knights, and senior Universe Knights. As for Universe Overlords and Universe Masters, he couldn't see them at all. LuoFeng stroked the throne and exclaimed, "The throne fits my godly body perfectly." His hands fit on the chair's arms precisely. Densely surrounding the gigantic, round table, the numerous thrones were divided into 5 different classes, 6 feet wide, 30 feet wide, 160 feet wide, 650 feet wide, and 3,200 feet wide. All the great beings had thrones that fit their godly bodies perfectly. Among them, some Universe Overlords, like the Heaven Erosion Palace Lord, LuoFeng Knight, and Undying Knight, were seated on the 650-foot wide thrones. And at the top, on towering thrones way high up, many universe masters were seated at the highest tier, where they looked down at all the other human great beings. They were super beings from the 5 forces of the human race. All of the towering, 3,200-foot wide thrones were made of dazzling gold except the 2 towering ones right in the middle, which were black and emanated an air of power. One of the 2 black thrones had a faint sculpture of a huge axe. Seated on this throne was a giant with thick fingers and messy, long hair that made him look like a barbarian. The black throne next to him was empty. No one occupied that seat. The other golden thrones were filled by towering figures. Primal Chaos City Leader, the barbaric giant said, looking to the golden throne on his left where Primal Chaos City Leader sat. He said with a smile, "You are very biased towards LuoFeng. This appears to have brought about much discontent from many universe knights. They are discontented, and I am not surprised. A soul-type true treasure. Primal Chaos City Leader, your disciple, Gui, he also has power that matches a universe overlord, and he always stays by your side, yet he does not seem to own a soul-type true treasure. He hasn't gotten one, and LuoFeng received one way back when he was merely a sector lord. I'm afraid Gui Knight would somehow find it unfair." "Discontented my foot!" someone shouted. All at once, voices could be heard from the dozens of thrones that were enshrouded by a foggy mist. A soul-piercing cold permeated the air. To bestow them with valuables is showing them kindness. Not giving them any valuable is just a matter of due course. Want a true treasure? They can fight with each other. Primal Chaos City Leader can choose to bestow a soul-type true treasure to whomever he decides. No one else has the right to say anything more. If you asked me, I think we should mete out punishment to one as a deterrent to the rest. The one who rejoices the most ought to be put behind bars in the prison of the primal universe. That is too much. We should never subject ourselves to the discussions of the knights down there. They did not rob nor kill. They have done nothing to deserve being sent to prison. Everyone, said Primal Chaos City Leader. Seated on his golden throne, he flashed a smile. I may be extremely fond of this disciple, but the way I work is clear to everyone. I would never bestow upon LuoFeng a soul-type true treasure when he was a mere sector lord. The other universe masters, including the giant on the black throne, looked over. It was true. Primal Chaos City Leader was known for being a most impartial and authoritative leader. After all, to attain such a great existence as that of a universe master truly required one to have the patience to manage all matters and to plan and make arrangements for unexpected events of the race. There were many universe masters who simply could not be bothered with such matters. However, Primal Chaos City Leader had the patience, and he had always been much respected. When LuoFeng was a sector lord, he had 3 true treasures, said Primal Chaos City Leader. Only the sure Wu Wings were bestowed by me. The other 2 came from my disciple's miraculous encounters in which Lady Luck smiled upon him. Ah, he got the true treasures by himself? Those true treasures are not common, they are not easily obtainable, even if one meets with miracles. They are usually left behind by super beings on purpose, for their successors. We should not be bothered about which super beings anyway. It is a good thing when these true treasures fall into the hands of us humans. Ha! Correct! Regardless of who left the treasures behind for their successors, they belong to LuoFeng no matter what. Priority should always be given to the human. Thereafter, we can look into the roots of these true treasures. No wonder I was not convinced when I heard that Primal Chaos City Leader bestowed 3 true treasures on LuoFeng. Primal Chaos City Leader is not one of such a character. Now I see why this situation made no sense to me. The words echoed from the dozens of thrones, everyone trying to be heard at once. The other knights are waiting, so let us commence the meeting, said the barbaric giant, sitting on the black throne with a faint sculpture of an axe. He looked to his left and said to Primal Chaos City Leader, Primal Chaos City Leader, you should chair the meeting. Primal Chaos City Leader nodded. On the thousands of thrones crowded together, LuoFeng conversed with the other universe knights next to him and soon discovered some basic information. The thrones in the Pantheon sanctuary were divided into 5 classes. One would only be able to see the great beings who were a class higher than oneself. As for conversing, one could initiate a conversation with someone from the same class or someone from a lower class. Therefore, LuoFeng could only converse with 4-starred great beings elementary universe knights and 5-starred universe knights secondary universe knights. As for elementary universe knights from the lower class, they were only able to converse with other elementary universe knights. Everyone, a kind and powerful voice announced. Pantheon's sanctuary fell into silence within an instant. The moment LuoFeng heard the voice, he knew it was his teacher, Primal Chaos City Leader. A Supreme Council meeting is convened every time a vital matter major enough to affect the entire race occurs. Primal Chaos City Leader's powerful voice resounded throughout Pantheon's sanctuary. No one dared interrupt. This time, the Supreme Council meeting is convened because the original star is about to open. Almost all the Universe Knights registered shocked expressions. The original star is about to open, a few of them murmured. The original star is the center of our vast universe, the territory that billions of races fight for, continued Primal Chaos City Leader. This opening will not be an exception. If you want to obtain a true treasure, if you want to make a big contribution to your race, your opportunity is here. Here's some detailed information. Let's all take a look first. Directly in front of the densely populated thrones where many great beings were seated, a screen showed up. A set of detailed descriptions appeared on the screen. LuoFeng fixed his attention on the screen before him. The very center of the entire universe was none other than the land of origin, yet for countless years except for the conscious mind's occasional arrival in the land of origin, no other great being was able to reach the land of origin in person. It was as though the place was imaginary, yet the original star truly existed. Altogether, there were 10,081 of them. According to the information handed out since the birth of the universe, these 10,081 original stars revolved around the land of origin. It was said to be located closest place to the land of origin in the entire universe. These 10,081 original stars were full of valuables but also fraught with danger. There were 10,081 paths leading to the original stars, yet those thousands of paths were usually closed. But, after a long period of time, the way would open once. Every time, the way to the original star would be kept open for 1,000 eras. After 1,000 eras, the star would shut all great beings who had entered needed to make their way out before it shut, or else they would be killed. Utilizing a clone or another body was not good enough. Many of these survival techniques had proven futile. If one did not leave the original star when the path was shut, death was inevitable. No exceptions whatsoever. This was the most mysterious place in the universe. No other place could compare to it. Not only were there treasures to be found in those 10,081 stars, but true treasures also appeared frequently. Super beings of the billions of races on the universe had engaged in epic battles for such treasures. Each race fought to claim these valuables as their own. Every time a star opened, it meant there would be universe masters being killed from within. It was all very bloody and cruel, yet the potential for these treasures drove countless great beings crazy for the opportunity. Such was the nature of the original star, the place that was closest to the land of origin of the universe. Contribution, eh? Muttered LuoFeng as he looked to the bottom for another set of descriptions. The valuables obtained from the original stars, if obtained alone, could be kept as one's own. If you had no need for the valuable you obtained, you could offer it to the race in exchange for a contribution. The way races grew more powerful was dependent on the contributions offered by numerous great beings. In this case, a contribution could be used to exchange for other valuables. LuoFeng looked through the sets of information. One was related to information on the original star, the other was related to the detailed elaboration of contributions. It was obvious that only newcomers like LuoFeng and True Yen Knight, who were attending the Supreme Council for the first time, would receive this second set of information containing detailed elaboration on contributions. This description read, "Within the race, there are two kinds of humans. The first kind consists of those who enjoy the resources. The second kind is made up of those who contribute these resources. Ordinary humans and undying spirits are the ones who enjoy the resources. For instance, ordinary humans can enjoy peace and stability, while undying spirits who showed outstanding performance can receive the guidance and advice of supreme beings or even have valuables bestowed upon them. They are the ones who enjoy the resources. Once one crosses over to become a universe great being, they are admitted to the Supreme Council. That would mean you have become a core member of the human race. The human race requires the contribution of true great beings like yourself. Only through your contributions can there be billions of humans, generations of geniuses and immeasurable amounts of resources to use. All of you risk your lives to fight for valuable resources to offer your race. All of these will be officially recorded as contributions. You can make use of these contributions in exchange for all the valuable resources you need." Blade River Emperor LuoFeng, When you joined the Supreme Council, you abandoned your previous status as a talent and will now be entitled to a generous quota of resources. From this moment on, you are one of the supreme beings among us humans. You are perfectly capable enough to contribute greatly to our human race, and can make use of your contributions to exchange for the resources and valuables you need. Contributions? LuoFeng said softly. Of course, he thought. Everyone in a race of beings wanted only to receive benefits. If everyone expected the race to bestow resources to them, then who would be contributing? LuoFeng understood now. It was the equivalent of a tribal community. The men were expected to head out and hunt for food while the women would plant crops for harvesting, and the children would enjoy the fruits of the adults' labor. Within a race, the supreme beings contributed so that the talents, the weaker ones, and the ordinary humans could enjoy the resources. Only after you cross over to become one of the universe's great beings can you start to contribute to the race, realized LuoFeng. Very well, LuoFeng said softly. This is quite good, actually, as it is meaningless to always be taking advantage of the original star. His eyes were sparkling. The universe is simply amazing. Prior to this, I was unaware of such a place. 10,081 original stars. The mysterious place that is closest to the land of origin of the universe. While all the supreme beings of the human race at the Supreme Council were still in shock, Primal Chaos City leader finally spoke again. The opening of the original star is still a whole 10 years away, he said. In the coming decade, everyone should start preparing. For instance, you could form small teams with a few other great beings, where your skills complement one another. Or you could borrow valuables from great beings who are unwilling to enter the original star. All preparations must be done within the decade. 10 years from now, we humans shall enter the original star. In 10 years, us humans will enter the original star. The Supreme Council meeting ended after the calm voice from Primal Chaos City leader. Hong, long. The door of Pantheon's sanctuary opened, and almost all the universe knights stood up. So soon? LuoFeng and True Yen Knight also stood along with the others. The universe knights all walked to the golden door of the sanctuary, chatting and laughing. They stepped through the door and disappeared. What are you guys waiting for? Bloody Wing Knight walked towards them. How short the meeting was! LuoFeng smiled. Bloody Wing Knight explained. I was also surprised at that the first time I attended the Supreme Council meeting. However, I grew to understand later that it takes a long time for an issue to come up that actually affects us humans. Besides, more than half of the Supreme Council meetings involve no discussions, and only Universe Masters need to know. Only those that require voting take a long time. After all, those superior Universe Masters don't have time to elaborate on the issue for us. LuoFeng nodded. It was indeed efficient. Primal Chaos City leader hadn't talked much. Instead, he had only mentioned the original star. Then the screen showed up in front of the Universe Knights, which gave a detailed description. Let's go, Bloody Wing Knight said. Okay. LuoFeng, True Yen Knight, and Bloody Wing Knight stepped into the golden door side by side. Nearby, some Universe Knights were talking quietly. Look, it's Blade River Emperor. Rumor has it that Blade River Emperor has at least 6 true treasures. Though he was able to kill Bark Mirror Emperor and thus is ranked among the exceptional undying fighters, he is, at most, a secondary Universe Knight power-wise. He'll become the perfect target for supreme beings of other races on the original star. Yes. He has at least 6 true treasures, and 2 of them are of the Soul type and the Flying Palace type. He'd just be a moving treasury on the original star. There are always supreme beings from billions of races on the original stars. The Universe Masters of other races will probably attack Blade River Emperor on sight. Universe Overlords and Universe Masters of other races will definitely attack him. What are you thinking? The weaker Universe Knights never choose to go when the original stars are open. Blade River Emperor is not stupid. Those other races can't do anything about him as long as he doesn't go. They also stepped into the golden door and disappeared. On the mountainside of Thunder Island, LuoFeng, Bloody Wing Knight, and True Yen Knight sat together and talking about the original star. To be precise, it was Bloody Wing Knight who did the talking while LuoFeng and True Yen Knight listened to him carefully. There are 10,081 original stars, and each of them is full of valuables, Bloody Knight said. Many superpowers in the universe gather there often. Those treasures or ordinary true treasures won't result in any significant fighting, whereas there will surely be horrifying battles for some precious true treasures like those of the Flying Palace type, Domain type, and Soul type, or even senior true treasures or top-tier true treasures. The more precious the true treasures are, the more attention will be drawn, and Universe Masters will fight to the death for them. Every time an original star opens, Universe Masters get killed. LuoFeng couldn't help but interject. Many Universe Masters have survival techniques like clone techniques. Those without clone techniques won't go to the original stars in the first place, right? This is where you're wrong. Bloody Wing Knight shook his head. There are only a few Universe Masters. A race is qualified to be a powerful race as long as there's one Universe Master among them. Even we humans, one of the pinnacle races, count just a few Universe Masters among our ranks. Few Universe Masters fear death. Although they're careful, the opening of original stars is a great chance for them to get top-tier true treasures, and they'll strive not to miss such an opportunity. If they can get some top-tier true treasures and even pinnacle true treasures, they can roam the universe with few enemies. LuoFeng nodded. He understood how useful true treasures were. For instance, Thousand Treasures River gave Primal Chaos City leader significant power, and he had been able to easily overpower Master of Skywolf, even with Skywolf Palace. The Purple Knight was one of the 72 deified generals, and he was much stronger than candidate deified generals like Pei Feng Knight and Jiao Feng Knight. He actually had the power of a Universe Master, yet Master of Skywolf had been able to easily suppress him with his Skywolf Palace. "I've been there once, and I almost got killed," said Bloody Wing Knight. But just when Bloody Wing Knight was describing his experience on the original star, a shadow flew toward them. "LuoFeng!" LuoFeng turned around. "Nine-Blade Knight?" he thought. LuoFeng was dazed. After becoming undying, many Universe Knights had traveled to congratulate him, but Nine-Blade River hadn't been one of them. LuoFeng knew that he was supposed to be beneath him, which was probably why Nine-Blade River was reluctant to do so. His pride was too great. "Nine-Blade Knight!" LuoFeng greeted him, smiling. "LuoFeng!" Nine-Blade River also had a warm smile on his face. He glanced at True Yen Knight and Bloody Wing Knight beside him and added, "And I see you two are also here." "Ha! Nine-Blade, are you here to borrow a true treasure?" Bloody Wing Knight said. Nine-Blade Knight froze a bit. Indeed, he was here to borrow a true treasure. After all, among the humans, only senior Universe Knights or Universe Overlords had true treasures. However, these supreme beings would normally go to the original stars. Few who had true treasures chose not to go. By all accounts, it was likely that LuoFeng would choose not to go, despite the fact that had at least 6 true treasures. There are no grudges between LuoFeng and me, he thought. Instead, we've known each other for a long time. I can easily become friends with him if I show him some respect. Besides, if I have a true treasure, I have a much higher chance of getting valuables on the original star. I just need to show some respect. Thus, after some consideration, Nine-Blade Knight had made the decision to come to LuoFeng. Power was the only thing that mattered on the path to becoming a great being. Other great beings would respect you only if you were strong. "LuoFeng, I'm indeed here to borrow a true treasure from you," admitted Nine-Blade Knight. "I'm good at close combat, so I want to borrow your true treasure armor." He knew that it was impossible for him to borrow the soul-type true treasure. "Borrow a true treasure?" LuoFeng was dazed. "I realize it might sound a bit ridiculous." Nine-Blade Knight smiled. "I'll return you the armor the moment I leave the original star, and I'll give you 10 treasures to show my gratitude. We can ask the virtual universe to verify the lending and sign a contract. If I don't return it to you, it would be as good as betraying my race." LuoFeng hesitated a bit. Would it be a bit disgraceful if he just said no? "Nine-Blade Knight," LuoFeng said. "I'm sorry, but—" Nine-Blade Knight immediately understood that he had failed, but he persisted. "LuoFeng, the original star will be open for 1,000 eras, and I can get out of there at any time. Once I get a valuable, I'll leave immediately. I might just stay there for hundreds of, if not 1,000 years. It's not that I don't want to lend it to you," LuoFeng said, "but I actually plan to go to the original star myself." Nine-Blade Knight didn't know what to say. Since LuoFeng wanted to go to the original star himself, he surely wanted to be as powerful as possible. "Haha! Well then!" Bloody Wing Knight laughed. "Nine-Blade, I was actually here to borrow a true treasure from LuoFeng as well, But I didn't expect you to have the same idea now that I know LuoFeng wants to go to the original star. However, I needn't ask anymore. I must thank you, Nine-Blade. Nine-Blade Knight smiled as well. He thanked Bloody Wing Knight secretly. His words had eased the awkwardness of the situation. Nine-Blade Knight left soon, but after only a short while, another great being arrived to borrow true treasures. Second brother, LuoFeng greeted him. A bold man in a fiery cape flew towards him. It was Gui Knight. He had been with Primal Chaos City leader until now. LuoFeng, I think you've already figured out why I'm here. Gui Knight stepped on the ground and looked at LuoFeng. I'm here because I want to borrow that soul-type true treasure from you. I speculate that you're not going to the original star, and that's why I'm here. After getting out of the original star, I'll return the soul-type true treasure immediately and compensate you with 3 true treasures. 3 true treasures? LuoFeng was shocked. Many universe overlords didn't have that many true treasures. Feng Knight, for instance, only had 4. Gui Knight spent a lot of time around Primal Chaos City leader. Perhaps that was how he got more true treasures. Still, 3 true treasures was an exceedingly generous offer. Second brother, LuoFeng said. Your offer is indeed tempting, but the thing is, I want to go to the original star myself. LuoFeng, Gui Knight said, startled. You also want to go? LuoFeng nodded. Yes. Don't you know how dangerous it is there? Gui Knight said. Ordinary universe knights are unlikely to attain any true treasures. Even if you were a universe overlord, you wouldn't be able to get 3 true treasures if you didn't have enough to protect yourself. LuoFeng understood his logic. Gui Knight was implying that it was a better deal for him to get 3 true treasures for lending him 1 soul-type true treasure, since even many universe overlords weren't able to get 3 ordinary true treasures. LuoFeng felt conflicted. Second brother, he thought, you don't know that my soul-type true treasure is Tower Pearl and that it already recognizes me as its master. Universe knights would certainly be killed if they tried to merge it with their souls. I'd still like to take my chances there. LuoFeng said. Okay, Gui Knight said. He nodded and smiled. Then I'll leave first. Looks like I'll need to find another way to borrow true treasures. LuoFeng watched the departing Gui Knight and felt a little regret. He simply could not comply this time, and while things might not seem any different on the outside, there was bound to be a knot formed in their hearts. What a pity, LuoFeng said quietly. My soul-type true treasure, Tower Pearl, is one of the treasures from the Star Tower and already recognizes me as its master. Universe knights who try to merge with it will die. If it was an ordinary soul-type true treasure, temporarily loaning it to Gui Knight wouldn't be a big deal. Anyway, the original star opens for 1,000 eras. I can also wait for a few hundred eras. My power is bound to get much stronger. Who knows? I might even become a universe knight. LuoFeng, Bloody Wing Knight walked over. I think you should lend it to Gui Knight. Gui Knight is of a different status. It is not easy for him to make such a request. Haha, that goes without saying. LuoFeng laughed and shook his head. It wasn't because he did not want to him lend the treasure. He couldn't. It's up to you. Bloody Wing Knight said good-naturedly. You are quite ambitious. Well, I would like to give it a shot, LuoFeng replied. Indeed, LuoFeng wanted to experience what it was like on the mysterious original star. But he knew his power still did not make the grade. Time flew by, and many universe knights approached LuoFeng, wanting to borrow his true treasures. Naturally, most great beings would think that LuoFeng would not want to enter the original star. Yet, they all were met with rejection. Of those who approached LuoFeng, some were friends, some were close acquaintances, and others were complete strangers. News of how the earliest batch of universe knights was rejected when they went to LuoFeng to borrow his true treasures spread fast. Almost all the universe knights came to learn of it. Blade River Emperor LuoFeng actually wanted to venture into the original star, and anyone who wanted to borrow his true treasures could banish all thoughts of it. Conversations on the topic were common. LuoFeng wants to enter the original star? He is merely an undying fighter. Although he is said to be impressive, he is still just a secondary universe knight, yet he owns so many true treasures. In the original star, he will be a walking treasury. Any supreme beings from the other races will attack him as soon as they meet him. Isn't he courting his doom? If he wants to die, what do you care? Going into the original star at that level is purely suicidal. Let's see what his end shall be when he enters the original star. It is okay for him to die. But if he dies, the true treasures will land in the hands of the other races. That will be a loss for our entire race, a most egregious sin. Fret not. He will not die so easily. Primal Chaos City Leader values him a lot. He will help him. Who knows? Primal Chaos City Leader may even arrange for 2 other Universe Overlords to form a team with him. There was indeed quite a crowd of Universe Knights who either found LuoFeng's very presence an eyesore or were jealous of him. These Universe Knights were always fighting hard to obtain valuables to offer their race so they could earn contributions in exchange for valuables and resources they needed for themselves. Yet, as a Sector Lord, LuoFeng could obtain Soul-type true treasures. Of course, this would cause the other Universe Knights to develop a great deal of resentment, discontent, and even hostility toward him. Many Universe Knights were just waiting to watch LuoFeng make a fool of himself. He had to be kidding. What kind of a place was the original star? It was a realm where Universe Masters and Universe Overlords ran rampant, where Senior Universe Knights were commonly seen, and even Senior Universe Knights would usually form teams to survive there. The power of any team, regardless of size, could not be belittled, so how could LuoFeng, who was only undying, overcome such odds? Even if he was blessed with a special life form, even if he was blessed with special techniques or even the most powerful valuables, he did not stand a chance. He was undying, which meant his fate was predetermined, and he could never create miracles on that original star. In the virtual universe, on the mountainside of Thunder Island, disciple and teacher, LuoFeng and True Yen Knight met up. I will not be entering that original star, said True Yen Knight. My powers are far from adequate. There was a note of bitterness in his eyes. I would really love to give it a shot, but I know where I stand. LuoFeng, you are my disciple, so let me give you some advice. Your powers are impressive enough, but there is no rush to enter the original star. Moreover, because of your eagerness, you may have estranged your relationship with 2 Universe Overlords. LuoFeng could only laugh. Yes, there were 2 Universe Overlords who wanted to borrow his true treasures. One was Gai Knight, and the other was Bai Feng Knight. Both had wanted to borrow his soul-type true treasure, but he was unable to accede to their requests, and he could not explain why. You are certainly my disciple, said True Yen Knight. You even share the same temperament as me. True Yen Knight laughed while shaking his head. However, when you enter the original star, you must be careful. Be amply prepared. Judging from the information we have gathered so far, it is really very dangerous in there. LuoFeng nodded. Senior Universe Knights getting killed was common. In fact, it was frequently seen. Universe Overlords getting killed was common enough. There were quite a handful of Universe Overlord deaths. Universe Masters getting killed, that was possible, too. Teacher, I am preparing, LuoFeng said. Said True Yen Knight. You did not lend the true treasures to anyone, so now, many Universe Knights of the human race are waiting to see you make a joke of yourself. Even your friends are not quite convinced that you are capable of such an unlikely achievement. But I am your teacher. I have watched you grow along the way. I believe in you. LuoFeng grinned. Remember, do not give them the chance to mock you, True Yen Knight said. Yes, teacher, LuoFeng said, nodding. A moment later, LuoFeng watched the departing True Yen Knight. I'm afraid that, other than teacher, not many believe that I can accomplish this miraculous task, LuoFeng said softly. Even I am not so confident. Given my current power, if I were to run into a Universe Overlord, I would still need to avoid him. Trying to snatch food from a tiger's mouth is reckless. Trying to vie for those true treasures is the same. Too difficult. Force armor, don't disappoint me. LuoFeng was sure of his power. With his power, he could run rampant anywhere in the universe. Yet, in that original star, where supreme beings from billions of races gathered, that was where the truly bloody fights occurred. Among all the Universe Masters, Universe Overlords, and Senior Universe Knights in their own small teams, he was indeed ranked at the bottom. He could only depend on force armor. The Universe Supreme Master, Sitting Mountain Guest, left his second disciple 2 true treasures. One was the Yenshin halberd, and the other was the original soul. For his third disciple, LuoFeng, he also left 2 true treasures. One was the Star Tower, the other was the force armor. The Star Tower had met with some accidents while in the making, bringing about an explosive boost in its power, allowing it to reach the level of a supreme true treasure. Force armor, Yenshin halberd, and original soul, they were all true treasures that were of the same standard. Every one of them was unimaginably precious. Sitting Mountain Guest had paid an immeasurable amount for these. They did not pale in comparison to Primal Chaos City Leader's 1,000 Treasures River. However, force armor had been specially refined by sitting mountain guests for his prospective third disciple, and it was designed and created according to his plan so that it would be customized to a high degree of compatibility with LuoFeng when he used it. The star map and Shu wings are just ordinary true treasures, LuoFeng thought. Universe masters are not concerned with them, as they do not serve much use. Force armor, however, though a measure below the Star Tower, which is one of the supreme true treasures of the universe, still qualifies as one of the top-tier true treasures and pinnacle true treasures. It is much stronger than the Shu wings. The might of force armor must be quite extraordinary. Yenshin race lived in a deserted land far away from the human domain. It was an independent race that occupied a large region of the universe. 1. On a desolate planet, vivid green light rays filled the surroundings. A hideous being of another undying race and a youth clad in golden armor appeared on this desolate planet. Not bad, said the youth in the golden armor said, flashing a smile after one look at the hideous being. The hideous-looking being groveled in veneration repeatedly. According to the many different races under my command, and the many tokens and locations they have left in this universe, right here is the area closest to the Yenshin race. With a wave, LuoFeng summoned the hideous-looking being into his world ring. Setting off from here to where the Yenshin race is, the distance is still incredibly far. Fortunately, I have the ancient boat galaxy. LuoFeng flipped his hand, and an ancient boat the size of a date kernel appeared on his palm. Larger, larger, larger! LuoFeng waved his hand. The ancient boat flew up into the air in an instant. At the same time, LuoFeng exerted his godly power with a gurgle. His godly power prompted a change as the ancient boat quickly grew larger while suspended in the air. In the blink of an eye, it became as big as the planet LuoFeng was on. LuoFeng laughed. Then, with a single step, he boarded the ancient boat. He stood on the deck, looking at the vast starry sky. A top-tier treasure such as a flying palace type is so much more powerful than a universe planet ship. LuoFeng exerted his godly power and shrank the ancient boat until it was about 3,200 feet long. After all, to keep the ancient boat at such an enormous size would have required him to use up a lot of his godly power. Take off, LuoFeng commanded using his mind. So, the ancient boat accelerated sharply while sweeping away. It left a silver flare across the starry sky. Almost immediately, it reached the threshold of the speed of light. Thereafter, it disappeared from the sky and entered the dark universe. Within the dark universe, the ancient boat galaxy was still accelerating at a crazy rate. 10 times the speed of light, 20 times the speed of light, 30 times the speed of light, 100 times the speed of light, 200 times the speed of light, 300 times the speed of light. Ha! Marvelous, marvelous! Standing before the handrails on the ship's deck, LuoFeng held on to the railing and looked out. The prow of the ancient boat galaxy had naturally formed a shield that protected the ship within it. Compared to those biological planet ships and mechanical planet ships, this is much faster. LuoFeng constantly increased the speed of the ancient boat galaxy. Finally, at almost 800 times the speed of light, the speed ceased to increase. This was LuoFeng's limit, not the limit of the ancient boat galaxy. If LuoFeng had set his godly power ablaze, he would have increased the speed even more. And if LuoFeng's law comprehension had been better, he would have been able to increase the speed to a superior level. Enough, LuoFeng said to himself. I think it should take around 2 months or more of flying in the dark universe to reach the Yenshin secret region. The Yenshin race lived in a large region of the universe, and because this region was occupied and ruled by the Yenshin race, some universe great beings often referred to it as the Yenshin secret region. Riding the ancient boat galaxy, LuoFeng traversed the dark universe. After close to 3 months, the ancient boat galaxy finally reduced its speed and left the dark universe. In the vast, empty sky, LuoFeng stood on the deck of the ancient boat galaxy, gripping the rail as he looked out. I have reached the Yenshin secret region.